Some guys really like Batman, and they had an epiphany. So they all got to work on the next Batman movie. And now they are the heroes, and you get to follow along. They're bringing him to life every week after this song. Batman, Project Batman, Project Batman. Fuck yeah.
Looks like you haven't shaved in a while. You got the Doug Benson look.
Yeah, my wife hates it. I went to Chicago. I was in Chicago for like 5 days, and I went to the Lincoln Park Zoo. And, you know, it's like a public zoo. It's in the park. You can go up and look at the animals. And they have, like, fucking awesome cages and shit. And, like, so, like, the big lion and tiger parts, it, like, wraps around. And there's a little alcove where there's a window where you can get right up next to it.
That's awesome.
And both the lion and the tiger were... both the lion and the tiger were both like right up next to the glass, and I was closer to those animals than I've ever been before. It was really awesome. But yeah, I was looking at the lion, and I was just like, man, like I was just thinking about its mane, and of course we all know like the mane is what makes the male lion, and I was just thinking about like how that's like his thing that grows that doesn't grow on the female, and so I was just like, man,
You mean his penis?
Actually, Sean had said it looks like I hadn't shaved in a while. So that's what brought on this conversation. So I was just thinking about how lame a lion would look if you shaved his mane. He would look like a cub or a woman. And so I get home and my wife's like she's so happy to see me, but she's like, you have to shave. And I'm like, come on, we've never seen it, we've never tried. like let's see, like this is not telling of what it could look like. And I was like, think about the first time you like saw Clooney with a beard. After knowing Clooney already, you're like, oh my, he can get more handsome. And she's like, you're in this metaphor, you're George Clooney. and I'm like, all right, come on, baby. What have you ever seen? What's a lion without its mane? And I said, have you ever seen one? She said, no. I'm like, well, you know what it would look like? She said, a cub. And I said, exactly. And she said, you need to shave. So that still hasn't happened. I'm going to see how long I can hold out.
Before she just shaves you in your sleep.
Yeah, though she already said she would do that, but we'll see.
She might be able to get one side, but then she's gonna have to flip you over. I don't think you'll sleep through that.
Yeah. So what's up?
Not much. Welcome back, Ken.
Yay!
He's been gone forever.
I'm happy to be back.
We're glad to have you back.
Me too.
We haven't done anything. Basically, you left after the last time we did this podcast here. We haven't moved. Like, I haven't bathed or even left to go to the bathroom in 4 weeks. I've been sleeping in this couch. I'm sitting in a...
This is like the same setup as the last time we recorded, too.
Yeah, I am sitting in the same pile of excrement that I was when we last started recording. Don't ask me why I was in a pile of excrement when we started before I didn't move for 4 weeks.
It's his natural state.
Yeah, it was just... Long story short, couch cushions are not soft enough for me.
Oh, man. Oh, man. So, how's the diaper rash?
Well...
I rub cream on it daily. It's fine.
Yeah, if it weren't for Sean, it'd be pretty nightmarish. But, I mean, fortunately, most of the skin seems to have just completely rotted away, so I don't have a rash anymore. Now it's just a full-on gangrene. But the good news is that it doesn't itch.
Awesome.
Or burn.
That is the best news.
I mean, it doesn't really do much of anything anymore. I think it got to my spinal cord, so I can't really feel it. So whatever.
It's good to take 3. It's Take 4. It's good to be back.
All right.
And on your birthday, too.
Yeah. No.
Okay, yeah, I meant to ask that as soon as I came in, but then I spilled a drink and felt awful, and then our conversation naturally went elsewhere. So now that we're on mic, I was going to be like, so today's your birthday, right?
Yes. Today is the actual day of my birth.
Happy birthday, Vincent.
Thank you, Ken.
We are doing a birthday recording. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. It's like... It was neat. I've found out while making the invitations for my party the other night that not only am I now, I'm 22 now. I'm the same age I'm about the same age that Harry Potter was when he married Ginny Weasley, because he had his first kid when they were 23. So I'm gonna guess they got married the previous year. And I am also the same age that Anakin Skywalker was when he fell to the dark side of the Force and became Darth Vader.
Awesome.
22 is a big thing. And now that I'm 22, I suddenly completely understand the song 22 by Taylor Swift. With nothing else was additionally explained to me. It's just because of how old I am. This is going to last exactly 1 year from today, and then it won't work anymore.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I understand.
Is that the Polar Express theory? Like the bell?
Well, think of it less like a bell and more of like, if you just had a big brass sphere and you put like a bunch, you put a chimpanzee with hammers tied to his hands in it, and then put it underwater and recorded that sound from above the water, that would be really distracting.
Is that story still going, or is that the end of that story?
That's the end of that story. It was completely unrelated. I just felt like sharing it.
Okay, so anyone who doesn't know, yeah, a month ago was the last time we recorded here. Since then, I left and went all around the U.S., and I was supposed to be gone for like another week and a half, but I just came home early because I oddly missed Waynesboro and people I know. It got really lonely there towards the end. Like in Chicago, like I didn't even do, besides going out to open mics, I didn't do any Chicago things besides going to the Lincoln Park Zoo once because it was like 5 minutes from the hostel I was staying in. Like all I did all day, like I just felt so depressed, and I tried to write while I was in Chicago, and like I felt so... there was just all I could think about was I want to be home, and like I had this weird like revelation regarding stand-up and what I was trying to do in the like around right before I got to Chicago on my trip, which I mean, in all accounts was like a good thing to come from that trip, like something I needed. So like the little writing I could do there was just me trying to think about jokes and like real things, because like what I was doing for like 3 weeks and what I have done this whole year in stand-up is like tell jokes, and people like jokes make people laugh, but nobody remembers the jokes and you don't leave an impression. And every great comedian you've ever seen just like talks about things that have happened to them, or their point of view, or their beliefs, or like just like real honest things like about their life. And like I mean, Bill Hicks' famous quote is like, less jokes, more you. And so I then tried to implement that, and I was like, well, I've been on this trip for like 3 weeks and I only have like 1 more week left, so while I already have this hotel paid for in Chicago, or actually a hostel paid for in Chicago, I'm going to try to do some of that there. But like I said, like that last week, it just was so rough. Like I never have been away from people I know for that long.
Oh, man.
It was so weird. But since it's your birthday, while I was gone, I was thinking about Christmas gifts for everyone. But now I'll just give you yours now.
Okay.
And so obviously, since I got something for you, I got something for you too. And I'm just gonna give you yours now too. And so this will be great because we're starting out this episode with gifts, and you'll be all happy before we get in an argument over things I bring up later. So I gotta run out to my car. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Speaking of gifts, me and Kristen found some cool shit we're gonna get everybody for Project Batman.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
I've got I got something that I'm working on now.
Do you really?
I've actually still got to do all of my Christmas shopping. I've been neglecting it because I've been trying to do actually fun things.
Yeah, Christmas shopping is terrible.
Yeah, it's like once people get it, it's fun. But the actual shopping part of it is terrible. You see, what I should have just did was I should have gone in on Black Friday with a baseball bat with 4-inch nails sticking out of it at odd angles. And gone through, clubbed anything that got in my way. Be it, other people, staff, shelves,
right?
Things I didn't want to buy. Things that I did want to buy but didn't mind if there were holes in it.
Sure.
Should have done that. I didn't do that.
I should have too, but like you, I did not.
Okay. Alright. So, we'll start with Sean because it's not his birthday. We'll lead up to the more important one. Alright, Sean.
I'm more important.
You're always more important.
In the way that one would use this gift, I slightly used it already. And I recommend that you do the same because it contains some sage wisdom.
Okay. Holy shit. That's amazing. I was just talking about this the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Right on.
It's a copy of Paddle Your Own Canoe by Nick Offerman, better known as Ron Swanson. And there's a picture of him paddling presumably his own canoe.
He is a skilled carpenter. I assume he made that canoe.
I saw a video. He did like a half-hour-long video on YouTube. It was his personal video. He just sit there making a boat.
Awesome.
He was just like, yeah, here's how you fucking make a boat.
You're welcome, man. No problem. It's very amusing, and he's very wise. I read certain parts. I skimmed through others. I didn't really read the whole book, but yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
I bet.
All right, and this one is because above all, everyone involved in this, you came up with this idea for this project in the beginning, and I consider you I'll always give you the last word because I don't really care. I just want to produce something good, mm-hmm. And I say that to reinforce things that will be brought up later. But no, I'm
worried.
No, I'm making it more of a thing than it is, just for dramatic sake. But seriously, there's nothing you ever have to worry about. Sorry, in this project. My bad. So this is just because you're I consider you the director. You're the main big boss on this project. So this is yours. Okay. I think you need this.
What is it? That is awesome. It's Salacious Crumb, Jabba's little monkey thing from Return of the Jedi. I can imagine this thing ripping out C-3PO's eye already. That's awesome. So I'm going to stick him right on the shelf with all my other fancy things.
He'll agree with you via laughter in your heart, no matter what you say.
That's awesome.
That is fucking cool. Now he sits on the TV.
That looks so cool.
It's perfect. Thanks, man.
You're welcome, man. All right.
Monchka douche dog.
All right. Awesome. Jinx. You owe me a new Code Red or whatever that drink was. Aha! I'm just kidding.
Is that? Oh shit! I can't talk. It's gonna be hard to do a podcast if I can't talk.
That's the only time I've ever done that. I always hated that in grade school when people would do that.
Jason and Kristen do that all the fucking time. Literally every time two people say something at the same time.
Jason and Kristen. Grow up.
Oh shit. Alrighty.
I'm not kidding. Alright, let's see. What are we doing? Alright, what are we doing? What's the last thing we did?
The last thing we did was we discussed the last couple of scenes that we wrote.
Okay, yeah. Did you listen to that episode?
I haven't gotten a chance to yet.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was finished yet. You've been editing them and stuff? You've had time to do that?
Yeah, I put our phone conversation one up.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I just was wondering, like, I haven't heard any feedback on, like, the sound or anything. I wanted to know what anyone thought about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Ken, I hadn't really gotten to talk to you much about it, but what did you think of Arkham Origins?
Arkham Origins is awesome. I played it for like 10 minutes earlier today. My wife was like, "You want to help me clean the kitchen and fold the laundry?" And I was like, I've been away from Batman for a month. I need to spend some time with the man himself, not just be in his head. If I could be the self I am with you guys on stage, I would be so much farther along in my career. Man, this is... I shouldn't bring this up right now, but I'm going to. Otto, if I can convince AB to let me do a live, so let's get to the point, for like 45 minutes on New Year's Eve at the hotspot before the band goes on, I want to have like 3 guests. Would you be one of them?
I might be able to.
Yeah? Awesome. That'd be great. Because I think you can be amusing.
I'm pretty awesome.
I know. I'm going to do like Christian, you, and then AB.
Cool.
And by the end of it, it would just be like the 4 of us. But it'd start with just me, and I'd bring us out one at a time. Yeah. Isn't that fun?
Behind door number 1. And behind also door number 1, they're all in the same room.
He's been sitting here the whole time. He's just not a celebrity, so you didn't know he'd be coming up here.
Exactly.
Alright. Or like, you all know him from Project Batman. Everyone stands up.
you got like teenage girls crying with their eyes out in the front of the audience that the camera's focusing on.
And like we're big with them because they know our voices, but not what we look like. So when you come up on stage, they're like, "Oh my god, that's him!" Okay.
He's that guy at the comedy club who sang without a shirt on.
That was fucking great. I loved every second of that.
Anyway, I'm not sure where we should start. Do you want to... I guess... Here's what I'll say. I have a version of fucking the Superman scene at the mountain done. And I'm not really completely happy with it. I've gone over and edited it a few times, but I mean, I'm not thrilled with it, but we can read through it and you guys can give me some feedback and like we can edit some of it here and now or make notes and we can do a version of it next time or whatever. And then
and we do have to remember what Kevin Smith said. The most important thing is just to write something the fuck down.
Yeah, exactly. And the next scenes I have to write, though, one's in the Lazarus Pit. I've gotten mostly through. What I do is I write it in a Word document, and then after I'm done editing that, and I'm sort of happy with it, that's when I copy paste it in the final draft. And so I'm not done with that Word document one yet. So I don't feel comfortable reading it. And then I started on the ambush one, like maybe like a page, and I like what I have for that, but it's only a page. It's not done yet. But I've been doing a lot of shit over the last month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm free now. Like, I have nothing going on. I have enough money to fucking just not do anything for like a month or so. And so I'll definitely have some more written, and be able to present one of those by the next time we get together.
Do you think we could have something by Sunday night? I'm thinking is when we can...
Absolutely.
Because we're gonna. I'm thinking to get this done by our goal, we're gonna have to start doing this at least twice a week.
Yeah, yeah. We'll do it Sunday, and then... Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I would love to do this twice a week. I find the only thing that really makes me like get into motion is having a date to have something by. Like, the reason that I got a final version of that Superman scene off of Word into Final Draft is because I thought we were going to be recording like when I was in Chicago a few nights ago. Spent the whole day like finalizing the scene, even though I'd been like working on it in like Portland and shit. But anyway,
this before we begin, this was something that I thought about that hadn't come up. Was in what scene is it that Bruce actually is supposed to mention that, I don't want the Justice League in on this yet?
We have that in the script already.
Is that already in the script?
Yeah. Plus, he's going to say it to Superman.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Superman's already in on it. Like, they're searching for him, for whatever's doing this, but... Alright, before we read this, I'm just going to say that there's a transition from inside to outside that you guys may not like, but I found amusing, and it stole from something we'll discuss when it happens. But we'll just see. I don't know. I'm not completely happy with this.
Okay.
This is my least confident thing I've written is this little sequence, but
That's how to get your interest in them.
I'm a podcaster above all else, sir. All right. Last thing that happens was fucking Bruce is like, I'm gonna go see who else knows who else knows anything, and Alfred's like, be careful, and Bruce is like, you too, and then he leaves in the Batwing out the Batcave. All right, so I'm gonna narrate this. One of you, Otto, you be Batman. Sean, you're gonna be Superman. And there's going to be a series of other characters. I'll be one of these guards who wants to be one of the other ones. Don't read the dialogue yet.
I'll be guard 1.
Okay, and I'll be guard 2. And then there's going to be a series of leaders, and I'll just point at each of us to read a line, and you'll see what to do there.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
So that sounds promising.
All right. Exterior, mountainside. Superimpose. United Nations Safe House, Colorado. Or whatever you want to put there.
Yeah, there's actually a name for it.
I thought so.
It's the Cheyenne Mountain something base.
Okay. Bruce Wayne lowers from a ladder to a small ledge near the top of the mountain. He activates a hidden switch, revealing a keypad. He enters the code 2342, and a platform forms out of the ground. It opens, and Bruce jumps in. Interior, mountainside. 2 armed agents guard a glass entrance to the meeting room.
Have you seen that new BT-16?
Yeah, some of the other guys were telling me about it. They say it's quite a thing to... What was that? They turn to see Bruce Wayne trying to gain entrance to the meeting room and draw their guns. Officials are arguing inside.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
I'm here to help.
Who are you?
Dude, you don't know who that is?
I'm Bruce Wayne. I'm part of the relief for the attacked cities.
Well, nobody told us.
He reaches to his headset, gun still drawn. Just before he gets it there, a hand grabs his, stopping it.
That won't be necessary.
Pull out to reveal Superman.
He's with me.
Superman looks at Bruce with suspicion.
Let's go.
Superman enters the code on the keypad Bruce was at, and the door opens.
After you, Mr. Wayne.
Interior meeting room. There's a large oval table in the center room. The walls are lined with security. Bruce and Superman linger near the entrance, speaking quietly.
What are you doing here?
The same thing you are.
You just left the Justice League. You walked away from your opportunity to help.
I didn't want to risk any more lives. The last time I worked with a partner, my nemesis used him to get to me. We've been through this. I help in my own way. You should stay out of it. This time it's too dangerous.
And it's not for you? Bruce, let us take this one. It's obvious from here that you don't move as well as you used to. I can't let you get yourself killed.
There are thousands dying that don't deserve to. I'm willing to risk it. What do we know?
Pan out to group of politicians arguing with one another incoherently.
Nothing. I will not stop. I will...
Wait. It says French leader, Sean.
So try and.
Oh, this is where we're gonna have some fun.
I will not stop. I will yell until I start to get some answers. One of you has to know something.
You're not the only one who got attacked. It's clearly a group with a religious agenda.
No, you do not look at me. We had nothing to do with this. You know we have been working towards diplomatic understanding for years now.
Why not ask your press's Justice League leader what they know?
Why does anyone still think we can trust them? We walked away rubbing elbows with the billionaire.
So Sean's British is a Russian.
Terrible.
It's okay. We'll have it.
Remind me not to go there.
Don't worry. We'll have voice actors.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Wait, now how do British... I was going to just do the British leader and cut all this out. How do British people sound?
Think of Alfred.
He sounds more like an Australian.
Actually, no, that was pretty British. Just do that.
Okay. Why does anyone still think we can trust them? He walked in rubbing elbows with a billionaire. Superman scowls. Bruce stands by silently. Now, this is Sean being Superman again.
My fellow leaders, it's easy to turn on one another in a state of crisis, but far from a helpful solution. I assure you Mr. Wayne is only here to help.
How can he help? Everyone that's been attacked has already died. There's nobody left to buy homes for.
Just tell us what you find out. Superman exchanges a glance with Bruce.
We haven't found anything.
The room groans angrily.
But we're still working on it. It's a big planet. Anyone with a plan of this magnitude probably has enough resources to hide well. It's clearly a group that doesn't want to be found.
You're not telling us anything we don't know. What good are you and your team?
We haven't given up. The Justice League is searching the planet right now. Nobody can hide forever. I promise that within a matter of hours, we'll have found the source of this threat. And nobody...
Now, we match cut to exterior mountainside. Bruce and Superman are standing back atop the mountain where Bruce entered. A quick edit makes Superman's dialogue sound like a continuation of his sentence from the last scene. So I'm going to take over from Superman for a second.
Okay.
So I'm going to snap my fingers, which sounds like this. And that's going to be when the scene switches. So this is Superman. We haven't given up. The Justice League is searching the planet right now. Nobody can hide forever. I promise that within a matter of hours, we'll have found the source of this threat. And nobody knows where to look. We've searched everywhere. Wherever they're hiding, it's either extremely desolate or very well hidden.
Stay out of this. Anyone with an attack of this scale expects the Justice League to be the first to step in.
All right, Sean, go back to Superman.
If that is the case, it means that all of this will go on until we do.
If you find out anything, you have to let me know. Let them try their luck with just one of us first.
One of us? Bruce, you chose to step out of a position where we share information.
The stakes are too high to not work together.
The stakes are always high.
The two heroes stand off for a beat.
I'm going to figure out what's going on and put a stop to it.
Bruce reaches in his coat and pushes a button on a device.
Let us know when you do.
A ladder lowers from the sky. Bruce steps on.
You'll know.
The ladder raises, and Bruce disappears into the clouds. After a beat, Superman does too. Kaboom.
And then what's that? Have you combined you've been combining this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's I was like, oh, there's more shit.
Yeah.
But no, we've already done that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I thought that was cool.
yeah, I like the bickering leaders.
Okay.
I think, provided we actually have people who can
Yeah.
do any sort of accents,
Right.
which I didn't realize I was so bad at. My Russian sounded French and my French sounded Russian.
That's okay. The listeners don't know that. They only know who they think you sounded like.
But I like the back and forth between Bruce and Superman. Superman, I'm not sure on some of his dialogue. Superman's pretty formal sounding, but I think not quite to the degree you have him. And of course, that's something we'll hammer out over time. But I think for the moment it's a good working version of that scene. I think the scene needs to be slightly longer.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I am looking forward to have having you do a pass on this scene, as it's called.
Okay.
Like, I thought about it for a long time and didn't know how to structure it. And I mean, we had the structure of like he arrives and he enters and then he gets in there and there's leaders and then they talk outside and then leave. But I mean, I didn't know how to just structure dialogue and like where to put what and like exactly who needs to have what stance. And I don't know like if there were themes we talked about before of like having in there or like certain points where they wanted to like dish out. And like at some point before we finalize the script, I'm going to go through and listen to every episode of this podcast that we've done to see like up to a certain point to see like what ideas we like just had about themes in the beginning to make sure we implement all of them.
Yeah. I almost wonder with the amount of material that we have so far, if you would have to, actually, considering we're on what, episode 35?
This will be episode number. Yeah, I was listening to some Eminem, guys. New album's awesome.
It is. Rap God's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this will be episode
33. So that means we're like 2 episodes away from surpassing how many episodes I've done. So let's get to the point.
Oh, man.
Yeah. All right. So what were you saying?
Yeah, it was something to do with...
how many episodes? Oh, I said I would listen to all these episodes.
That's a brilliant title.
Huh?
Brilliant title.
To the bat phone, yeah.
But yeah, the thing is with episodes averaging now over an hour, that I don't know if you can actually finish listening to all the episodes between now and then.
Dude, do you know how often I listen to podcasts? I'll just when we have our final version of this, I'll just dedicate it to this. So far, it's one day, 17 hours and 20 minutes worth of episodes we have, not including this episode.
Oh man, that's more than a day and a half straight.
Yep.
Listening to this pod. Okay, so think about it. The whole time we've been doing that, not counting all the shit that's edited out, we've been sitting here for about 2 days.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And since you said it's, about a 2-to-1 time turnout for editing, so you've been sitting there editing this shit for like 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That's dedication to work.
Though when you think about it, spread over a year, that's not all that long.
Yeah, it's not. I enjoy this. There's nothing about this I don't like.
But yeah, that being said, back to the scene, I think it could be a little longer.
Yeah, okay, so I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, actually, it was pretty opportune because I don't know what I was going to say next.
Okay, well, I was going to say, so what beats would you like them to hit? Like, I created some tension. They had their stances. And what do you think of... All right, that change comes from having watched Buffy all the way through 3 times in 2 years and having watched Angel all the way through once. That is a Joss Whedon trick that he's done maybe 10 times throughout everything I've seen on those shows. And, like... It's always so amusing, but you're so into both scenes. Like, it's such a change of pace. Like, he's so convincing everybody of what he wants them to believe, which is very politician-like of Superman, to this is what I really think, to somebody he trusts who knows can't tell anyone anything.
Right.
And I like that sort of depiction of change of character for him.
Yeah, I think it'll be difficult to pull off, but if we do pull it off, it'll be great.
Okay.
I think it'll take some work, and especially we're going to have to find a talented voice actor for Superman to be able to get that to flow correctly.
Well, the way we'd have to do it is, and I've listened to Joss talk about how they do it on Buffy, is like they actually have the rest of the line of what that character is going to say written out, and for the first scene, and they actually have a beginning of the statement or a line or two for the second scene that they just edit those out completely and put those 2 words together, and it always flows perfectly. Like, as long as they're saying it clearly, like within the mood that they're trying to say it, I mean, you can get editing down to such a fine point that you can just make the statements flow how you want it to. And I mean, that's what I do in editing all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, if we stammer a lot or whatever, or like go off on a tangent for 2 minutes, I mean, it's so easy to just make it sound natural.
Yeah, and that's a true point that I didn't think about, is that we will be able to edit the voices when we get to them.
Yeah.
Which is, I can't believe it that in like 6 weeks we're gonna have a finished screenplay and we can start, having people actually voice act on this.
Yes.
That's nuts.
It's awesome. Oh, now this is a very far reach, but if anybody listening to this wants to help contribute to this dream of mine, then try to make it happen, because there's a way. Now, Film Crit Hulk just released his screenwriting 101 that we used to follow this. Mm-hmm. He released it in ebook form. Like, he actually wrote every point out into like a chapter, and like it's over 400 pages. And I the morning it came out, I've been waiting for this for months. Like, he's been talking about it for a long time. I downloaded it and spent all day in Chicago just reading it again all the way through. Mm-hmm. Afterwards, I went to his site to see if he had like released any other like thing about it, and he released a really short essay of like why I wrote this screenwriting book. And at the end, he put an FAQ, and one of the questions is, "Will you come on my podcast and talk about this?" Blah blah blah. And he was like, "I would love to promote my book. Send all inquiries to filmcrithulk@gmail.com. It might take me a while to get around to you, but I respond to everybody." So, from our Project Batman account, I sent Film Crit Hulk an email, and I said that, hey, I understand if you can't, because you are a pretty anonymous guy who works in the business, and this is sort of a licensed thing that you could get in trouble if you work on, but I want you to know that you have been the basis of a writing project from 3 people who had never completed a writing project before, and we just worked off of your teachings from that essay. And now that book's out, we're close to finishing the first draft of our script. I know you're probably doing a lot of podcasts and interviews about it right now. We plan to have like a finished version by the end of January. We'd love if the person who started this would want to read our finished version and give us a pass on it. That's a really far reach, I think. But I sent it to him because I thought, what the hell? If anybody wants to help make that happen, you can email filmcrithulk@gmail.com or tweet him at filmcrithulk, which he is always checking and responding to. If you want to tag us in that tweet, like say, hey, you should do Project Batman, we are at Project_Batman, because somebody has at Project Batman. So that's one thing that I thought I should bring up.
That's actually really awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And I met AJ and Paul of Gobbledygook on this trip again, and they said, whenever we want them to come on, they're willing to, whenever.
Awesome.
So
did you tell them expect soon?
Yeah, I said like around mid-January or something, early to mid-January, and they said, yeah, whatever. They just need like a week or two advance notice. But yeah, that was the end of that bullet point.
Neat.
That's awesome.
Okay. I don't know if the other bullet point I have should be brought up before or after we read your scene.
Is it scary?
It might be weird. Not controversial, but... Alright, I'll just get into it.
Yeah.
Alright. I just want to make sure that everything I say in the next minute or 2 or 3 minutes that I am speaking is taken in the vein of like wanting to be collaborative and helpful, and us all be on the same page and not try to be like power hungry. I can't think of the word, like like leadery, like, hey, this is gonna be my way. It's not that way at all. Like
it's never been.
Okay. When we read through your Paris scenes, it was awesome because, I mean, you are so descriptive and you have such a vision of it. We were reading through it. It was like an audiobook. And then editing it, I was listening to it out loud, and I had just listened. I mean, I was editing it on the trip, and on the trip, I had just listened to the audiobook of Catching Fire because I wanted to read that before I saw the movie, which I saw today. Made me cry many times. It was amazing, but so I had just like been in audiobook mode, and listening to us read that out, it just like with that narration to me, it just sounded like such an audiobook. Like, you're so descriptive, and it's so like awesome that you have such a setting of it. But then, like a week later, that Hulk book came out, and I reread that Hulk book, and he makes the fun point about like getting to the point as soon as possible, and only writing what you see, and certain like things are left to be like for art departments or directors to discuss with animators or with voice actors or whatever, and like it's strictly like just like for the screen, and like he just talks about how economy is key. And and this isn't a criticism, I don't know if you've ever read a screenplay before. And while I've never completed a writing project really that I've done as an adult in the last few years, I have done a lot of reading of books on writing and read at least 12 screenplays that are regarded as really great screenplays. And so I know how like the flow of them are really supposed to go. Now, I didn't realize it when we were reading it because I was so into it, like I said. But I think there are things in it that were strictly for vision, for like you're the director. It was like for like the director's point of view to like tell animators, not necessarily things that if you were to turn it into a company, any intern that was reading a script that verbose would throw it in the pile like right away, like of scripts not to read. So I was debating with myself whether to be like, let you do the rest of the scenes, and then, because we're going to have all our rough drafts of the scenes composed into one script at the end of this, and then go through it together and edit things we don't like or whatever. But then I was like, well, maybe if I can bring this up now, then you can feel more comfortable with scenes you have yet to write than scenes that like have a bunch of scenes that were like, hey, maybe I could have like gotten more to the point. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't copy paste from the email you sent me with the file of your scenes from Paris, so I just started to copy in exactly the everything in your Adobe document into a final draft so I could get to writing the next scene. And as I was doing that, I was rereading it again, and like I was in my head, like just the anal retentiveness of me was like, well, we could just lose that a bit. And anyway, I really felt bad about this, but then I was like, you know what? I don't feel good about my fucking Superman scene, so these guys are going to do a pass on that scene. And as like the guy who first and foremost wanted to be called the screenwriter, I did a pass on your scene, and I want you to read it and see. I hope it's not offensive, anything that I took out, because I think everything you have is great. And I only really changed one logic-based thing about things that happen. Okay? But everything else is...
Dude, you're like shaking and nervous. Calm the fuck down, man.
I really don't want to be...
No, this is what we're here for.
I know.
Is to be able to talk about this shit.
I've never done anything like this. I've never had to do anything like this. So, anyway. Now, the only logical change I made in this, and I'll explain it before we read it, is we've already killed everyone in Paris. I didn't want to add insult to injury by implying that, because I've been to Paris and talked to a lot of people there, by implying that the only family left there wouldn't be able to speak English. Like, we didn't need a translator. Like, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, because most of them are brought up to know English. At least someone in that family would know English. So let's just have... I combined man number 2 and Monsieur Renardo into just Monsieur Renardo.
Okay.
So let's see how that plays to you. And
like I said, it's like when I put this together, I knew that it was going to be picked apart, and we're gonna have the same thing done to us by like 30 different people all reading our damn screenplays. So
I never want to come across like I'm better at anything.
No. It's like that's understood perfectly.
Okay.
So
this is my pass on the scene that we did last episode.
Okay.
We'll take the same parts. I'll narrate. I'll be Renardo. Sean can be Talia, and you'll be Batman.
Okay.
Hey, sweetie.
Come here.
All right. Exterior, Paris, France, dusk. The Batwing flies over the city of Paris, the perimeter lined with guards, but otherwise completely lifeless. It lands in the familiar clearing in front of the Eiffel Tower. Batman exits, wearing a gas mask, and gasps at the signs of destruction. After a few moments of looking around for clues, he picks up a video camera next to a pile of clothes. A toy airplane sits nearby. The camera is dead, but he wires it to a battery pack on his belt. The screen shows the little boy playing, with his mother laughing behind the camera. Something falls from the sky in front of the boy. Several more seem to be falling in the background. The woman beckons her son to back away when the object emits orange smoke, vaporizing the boy. The woman screams with the victims around her before Cloud reaches her and the camera falls, left pointing at an orange sky. Batman slides the wiring back into his belt when he sees a masked figure across the park, clad all in black. The figure flees at the recognition of being noticed. Batman gives chase. The figure throws a smoke bomb in his path, but he takes no notice.
Stop!
Batman corners the figure in an alleyway. A brief scuffle ensues. The figure aims a blow at Batman's face, but he catches their arm and pulls him close, ripping off the mask. Twisting out of the hold, a head of long hair reveals the figure to be a woman. I just made that a surprise because who would have fucking expected that? She turns around and her face is revealed to be that of Talia al Ghul. She stops moving and brings her arms to rest by her sides. Batman lowers his fists in surprise, but only slightly.
Talia! What are you doing here?
Talia looks on him, sadly, for a beat.
Explain yourself. Now!
You don't seem very happy to see me, Bruce.
Why would I be happy to see you? The last time I saw you, you tried to kill Superman. And now, years later, I find you here, the only living thing in the world's biggest murder scene. Now, I want answers.
I'm here for the same reason you are, to find out what happened here.
Then why would you run from me?
Because I was sure you wouldn't believe a word I said.
Your father is behind this, isn't he?
I just told you I don't know.
You don't know?
I haven't spoken with my father since, well, it's been some time.
Batman moves slightly closer to Talia. She tenses up. Batman lowers his fists.
What? Why haven't you spoke?
A dog bark interrupts them. They look at the head of the alleyway and see a black Labrador panting at them. It barks again.
How did he survive?
I think he wants us to follow him.
They exchange glances for a beat. Batman nods and they depart after the dog. As they walk, a squirrel walks along a telephone wire and pigeons fly overhead.
I noticed that earlier. Somehow all the animals have managed to survive.
Whatever this weapon is must only target humans. Some sort of biological agent, like a gas.
The dog barks again, leading them into a small house. Armed with a batarang, Batman enters the open door as Talia follows. Interior, French safe house. Batman and Talia enter the kitchen to find the dog barking at a metal vault. A man exits the door and, seeing the dog, reacts with glee. Caesar! The man embraces Caesar, who barks at Batman and Talia. Looking up, the man notices them for the first time and screams. He runs back through the metal door.
Nous voulons no mal!
Which means...
We mean no harm.
Still shaking, the man heads back up, but beckons them downstairs. Downstairs, the man stands in front of who must be his wife and young daughter, who also scream. He takes a moment to comfort them. Who are you? My French accent sucks.
I'm a detective, and this is my associate.
The man looks at him in disbelief for a moment, then gasps. I know you. You're the Batman. I've heard of you last time I was in Gotham City.
You speak English.
Yes. I am Leon Reynardo. How far did this reach? Is there anyone left?
This attack was aimed at Paris, and there have been various other attacks on cities worldwide. Monsieur Reynardo, I'm here to figure out who did this. What can you tell me?
Not much of anything useful, I'm afraid. We were just shopping when this cloud of orange smoke appeared. My son and I ran. Luckily, my family was in the house and we were close to home, but he tripped, and I didn't get to him in time. Batman puts a comforting hand on his shoulder. Reynardo composes himself. This is our safe house. My grandfather built it after the Nazis came in World War II. We have food, water, and shelter, but I don't know how much longer we can last. We send Caesar out once a day to look for people. Whatever's out there didn't seem to hurt him. We were sure we lost him that day, but he came back at about an hour after the attack, completely unharmed. Batman looks over at Caesar, then back at Reynardo.
I need a sample of his blood. If he was out there during the attack, whatever agent it was that killed everyone might be inside him, too.
That is fine. Batman calls Caesar, producing a vial with a needle from his belt. He pricks the dog and fills the vial. He turns to Talia.
I need to analyze this back at the Batcave. You? I'm taking you to the authorities.
No, you're not. I'm going with you.
And why would I take you with me?
You're trying to find out who did this, and I'm going to look for my father. If I were you, I'd start with the Lazarus pits. But you have no idea where they are.
I don't want your help. I can find them on my own.
And just how do you think you can do that? My father searched for decades to find each one, and it seems to me like you don't have much time. So I'm going off to find him. You can either accept my help and let me come, or try your luck without me, but we both know you're not going to stop me.
A beat. Batman sighs, conceding defeat.
I'm keeping a close watch on you.
That's how I prefer it.
She turns to leave. Batman turns to Reynardo and the family.
Thank you, Monsieur Reynardo. There are guards surrounding the city, keeping it quarantined, who can help you. I'm sure they'll be happy to know there are any survivors.
Just promise us you can find whoever did this, and make them pay for what they've done.
You have my word.
They shake hands, and Batman exits the Reynardo safe house.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so here are my thoughts on it. I understand that the part of the whole making things shorter and less verbose is based on pacing. That being said, the first part of the scene where it's so long and verbose is actually incredibly slow-paced. I mean, he's sitting there walking through ruins for a good minute and a half.
Oh, I know.
So it's like, but like, I know that when you're writing a screenplay, one of the only things I know about writing a screenplay actually is, generally speaking, rule of thumb, about a minute a page. And we ended up having, in your edit, about 3 minutes of scene condensed into the last third of a page, which was a little jarring.
I know what you're saying. Let me respond to that. Okay. In incredibly quick-paced things, that's generally the case. Both The Dark Knight Rises, and The Social Network those are three incredibly fast-paced movies. Mm-hmm. There's not much downtime. There's always information being thrown at you. Those movies, to the T, are a minute per page on the screenplay. Now, I also was just not heavily involved, but I was involved in the production and acted in this thing called Nowheresville by my friend Joseph Lewis, and it's an online pilot for a TV thing, but I've been following that script since he's a good friend of mine since like the original first draft. And his first draft was 60 pages because he was like, I think it'll be like, I'm shooting for like an hour long. But then it's an independent project that he's paying for, so he didn't want to have to shoot that much, so he trimmed it down to 42 pages. He's like, I'll just make it like it would be for a TV show, 42 minutes. The thing is, there's a lot of mood stuff going on that isn't, like, that doesn't have dialogue. And on the page, it works, and you get what he's trying to say. So he planned it out to be 42 minutes. After doing all the shooting and having everything that's in the script, it turned out to be 61 minutes. Mm-hmm. So that rule of thumb does apply generally, and that's talking about...
But for fast-paced stuff.
Yeah, for direct action and dialogue. I mean, if you can create a mood, like... Let me try to think of an example real quick. I bet they don't describe what Asgard looks like in Thor's script very much at all. It probably just says royal, otherworldly. Mm-hmm. But they do spend a good minute or so in each movie showing you what Asgard is and what the mood is before getting into the hall and having dialogue or whatever. So add in what you think is necessary. Mm-hmm. But to me, like I said, I was in that mood of like feeling really anal retentive about it, so I might have cut too much. Mm-hmm. Put them side by side and look at them and just add in what you want, and we'll figure it out. I mean, that would be stuff that in, I know, a real life movie, like for the crew, that would be a talk between the director and production design. Stuff like there are no fucking screech marks on the road. There's I mean, I might have... I don't know if I took out the smoke line. You would probably say there's random smoke stacks or whatever.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
I definitely might have gotten a little happy. But ultimately, I took everything you had, added a little more information with Renardo and like making his son and all that with, and took a bunch out, and it ended up being about a page less. And in reading a screenplay, somebody who isn't involved in the project, whether they're into it or not, they want to get to the last page as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. They want to follow the action.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just saying put them side by side. And
I see what you're saying. Now, this was another thing I wanted to get into. Was that okay? I understand your bit on, the French people being able to speak English, and I like it, and I think we can work with that. I still think that I still like there being two separate guys.
Okay.
I like the whole, the second guy is just a dude they pulled in.
Okay.
That was there with like his, I forget what it was. Was it his daughter or his son or something?
Well, his son died, and I just like co-opted that into the Renardo family.
But yeah, I like the idea of that second guy being there, and then it made, and the other thing was that it made more sense for an American tourist in Paris to have been to Gotham City than a person who lives in Paris to have been to Gotham City to have seen Batman. And I want somebody to actually like the person, I wanted him to recognize Batman.
Okay, and I also was debating with that Gotham City line at all, because Batman was part of the Justice League, which were national, like everybody knew the Justice League. Wouldn't he just know Batman from the Justice League? Like maybe be scared for a second, but then like, oh, you're the guy who's in the Justice League.
Maybe. I don't know. It's like you have to think how much of what the Justice League did was, just filmed live and then televised. And Batman's not going to be the one to stand around for the interviews. That's going to be the Flash.
Oh, right, but I'm sure there were papers reporting on it. That and there are rumors of the Batman and fucking...
But see, the thing is that even in Gotham City, people aren't really... Like, that's always been part of Batman. So we know who Batman is. Mm-hmm. But the citizens of Gotham, he's a complete mystery to them. I mean, even to the villains, there's that whole episode of the animated series where they're just sitting there playing a poker game. It was Almost Got Him was the name of the episode. You had Two-Face and Poison
that.
Ivy and Joker all sitting there.
Yeah, that's
and they're talking about
one of my favorites. Yeah,
and they're talking about like, you know, they're talking about Batman in general, and Two-Face is like, I don't think it is one guy. I think it's, you know, there's got to be at least two of them, and they, you know, some of them, somebody brought up they thought he was a robot, and like, you know, there are people who just, they know of Batman, they know that he exists, but they've never actually seen a glimpse of him before.
He's like Banksy. Maybe there's like 5 of them.
I mean, yeah, well, that's, but yeah, it's a silly example, but yes,
yeah,
that's the gist of it, is that he is as mysterious to Gothamites as whatever, but like in terms of the Justice League stuff, a lot of what you have to remember is that a lot of the Justice League, I mean, have you gone through and just sat through and just watched the rest of Justice League yet?
No.
At some point you'll have to, because a lot of the stuff that happens with the Justice League isn't like a lot of their adventures take place off-world.
Yeah.
In some different dimension, in the Old West, you know, things like that.
Yeah, but but like, we just had Superman talking to the like world leaders. Like, it's clear, like, the world knows about the Justice League.
Right. Is it? But I mean, I just thought it would be nice to have a little link back to Gotham City. Okay. I'm just trying to explain why I had that there.
Okay, and that, like, I liked it too. I liked it when we read through it. I liked it when I was retyping it. But the only question that came to mind at the time was like, okay, why do we have to have a separate man? And I mean, you sort of explained it just now. So I mean, I didn't think about that before. So that's cool.
But yeah, it's just like a, you know, because you'd think that, you know, this family would, you know, they might be good enough to pull one other person in, especially considering, you know, what it was like in World War II and the reason that safe house existed.
Yeah. I hear you. That makes total sense. And I like the idea of.
But yeah, we can totally have Monsieur Renardo speak, you know, English if need be.
Okay.
If that's a.
Yeah, I mean, I would think also, like, in a survivor circumstance, a man fending for his family. Once, I mean, that he didn't know how far the attack went, if it was a global attack.
Yeah, that was something that I didn't think about that I thought was a really nice addition, was that, you know, the man, it was just a big thing. It was nice to hear Batman explain to this person, oh shit, well, you know, you're not the only one or whatever. So actually, yeah, no, I thought that was great, and I think we should keep that there.
Okay, so yeah, my thought is, like, if he says they're running out of rations, if his thought initially is like, well, we have this safe house to look after my family, and he doesn't know how far the attack went, wouldn't he want to only have his family there for the food to last as long as it can?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how fucking anarchy movies make you think everybody thinks. Who knows? I mean, he might just be a good dude. So, yeah, just do your pass on my pass, and this will be the first experiment of this, how this will pretty much go for the rest of the project.
Right.
Of writing the screenplay, at least. Yeah, I didn't think that went too bad.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good.
Okay.
And like I said, because I thought this might actually end up coming up, because I know that for one, have not taken formal screenplay classes, or
yeah, that's why I thought it would be I would be helpful. I don't want to, yeah.
But the thing is that one thing that we have to remember while we're writing this is that this is our project. Mm-hmm. In the end of it, we have the final say on everything.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're going to look in, and, you know, we're going to have there's a scene, there's a line that we really, really love. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the way it's set up and the way that it's set up and phrased and whatnot, we like how that is set up. Mm-hmm. And we're, like, really defensive of it. And say our test readers, all of them, just be like, no, this is fucking terrible. No, we can't.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of it, if we personally feel like it will be a lesser thing to remove that, then we shouldn't do it.
I'm totally with you.
And
that's one thing that I really admire about some of my heroes, David Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. Like, they get infinite shit for that Lost finale that I think is brilliant, and they're like, we're not going to apologize for it. And people told us at the network told us not to do it, but I mean, this is what we wanted to do, and we're proud of it, and that's how it is. So yeah, I'm totally with you there. Like,
it's a completely different thing than what Hollywood movies seem to be now. Is just like people don't really give a shit about their work. It's just it's just about an hour and a half of time people waste. Yeah, there you go.
Or like, quote unquote, more important people give you notes and you have to change it based on their notes, and then you give up your great script because that's how the system works.
Exactly. And the other side of that is that a lot of it is based on like the flow of production. It's like avoid certain notes and descriptions of things because that's left to a separate entity. The thing is that we're the only entity here. I mean, in the end of it, I mean, we are going to have a
project that's all ours,
right? And so, in the end of it, it would actually make, though it would be detrimental for us to turn in a screenplay that was very verbose if we were to just say try and turn it in to sell it. If it's going to help us make a better movie,
right,
then it might be for the best to do it that way.
I understand, but you're not going to forget your vision of what you want Paris to look like in that moment.
But
plus, we already have it on record.
But it will be easier to convey because we're not going to be the only, for example, storyboard artists on this.
Right.
And a lot of, I'm going to guess, because there's somebody who I talked to, an old friend of mine from Ohio, actually wanted to be involved in this project, and that's, he's actually, a published artist.
I was in Akron.
Were you in Akron? What do you think? Was it terrible?
Yeah. I had White Castle and went to see a terrible movie.
What theater did you go to?
A Regal?
Ah, yeah, Regal, the one right off I-77.
I guess.
Yeah, no, my dad and I used to go to that theater
It's
all the
right
time.
up the road from the White Castle, right?
Yeah. I think so. But there's a Regal cinema in Akron. There's just the one there, so I know what one it is.
Okay.
That's the same theater my dad and I went to all the time.
Right on.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Akron is...
What was the bad movie?
Out of the Furnace. Which made me
Was it bad?
I wanted to throw that movie into the fire. The song is bookended by the song by Pearl Jam titled Release Me, and I told my friend AJ, who I saw it with, that was the song my heart was singing the entire time. But yeah, what you're saying, I totally expect it. Okay, in one of Kevin Smith's Batman books, there's a part where like he's running away from an explosion or something, and he accidentally pisses his pants just because he wasn't expecting an explosion that big, and like the vibrations. There's some scientific shit Kevin Smith defended it with that he ultimately just thought it'd be funny, and he really liked it. And someone else is like, "You should take that out." Batman wouldn't piss himself. He's like, "No, this is my Batman story. I want to do it." And I love that he left that in. He's gotten a lot of shit for it, but no, Batman pissed his pants in that universe. That's funny. And so I totally expect from some people who are really like Batman fans, Batman doesn't look forward to Macaroni Night. I'm sorry. The three of us love that, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you on that.
So in the end of it, we have to remember we're not giving the screenplay to anyone else. This is not going higher up than us.
Yeah.
Essentially, we are gods.
I understand, but I have me as somebody who really just wants to be labeled as the screenwriter more than anything else, wants to be able in the future, if this becomes something, be able to send it to somebody and be like, hey, this is my writing. I helped to write this and edited it down, and this is
okay.
That's That's the more selfish reason behind
that I see.
So, I mean, take your pass on it and put what you think is... Like I said, I probably got a little finger happy on the editing. Put what you think is necessary. Mm-hmm. And if it comes down to it, we can have 2 different versions. That I labeled that one Ken's Paris draft. I put your version in the Batman Immortal one. So, whatever, man.
But yeah, like, what I will do at this juncture is... I will continue to write how I've been writing, because that's just how I pour my brain out on the page.
Oh, wait, let me compliment you real quick. I wanted to finish that whole diatribe with... But that writing was fucking amazing, and I can't write like that, and I think you should just do, when we're done with the script, as an exercise for yourself, you should do the novelization of Batman Immortal. Because I would totally read that. Like, that's how it was written. You were writing in novel form, and it was... Like, that's why I don't want any of this to sound like an insult, because it was great writing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah.
But that being said, because that's how I write best, I'm going to write like that, and then as we edit it, we'll have to edit that down, I guess.
Okay.
But otherwise, I don't feel like I'm going to be able to as effectively write the scenes.
That's fine.
I mean, do you see where I'm coming from on that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean, we'll meet in the middle, man. We made it this far.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end, we're gonna have a kick-ass thing that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we're at an hour and 20 minutes. Do you want to read the scene you wrote?
I do.
Okay, I'm down either way.
Well, no, because the thing is that because his wife's about to flip shit. But the thing is that given what, because we're gonna have more scenes on Sunday, I plan on having 2 more scenes then.
Oh right, yeah, we don't want to have too many new scenes in one episode.
Right, so I think we'll have to do it now.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, we can get through them pretty good. I think the total on both of them is 7 pages, so it's not that bad.
Okay, 20 and 21.
This is the scene where Batman and Talia get to Milan and they have their date, and the following scene where shit hits the fan.
Awesome! I'm excited for this.
Like, I'm really proud of this.
Like, yeah. I want to make clear, like, even though I edited down your shit, I'm excited for this because you create a fucking mood, like, with your writing. I think I think your writing is great. Please take that from everything that I said. I
can take that.
Okay. You're going to have to cast us because I don't know how many people are in.
Oh, shit. Okay, so I guess I'll be Batman again as usual, and Sean can be Talia.
Thanks, baby.
And then get in the bedroom and wait. And then who the hell else is there? There's a waiter. Ken, you can be a waiter.
Okay.
There's also a photographer, the guy on a band.
It's the photographer male.
I believe so, yes.
I'll take that.
Okay. And there's the lead violinist in a band, and also a shadow guard later who has dialogue.
Okay. So do you just want to tell us who to be when we get there? Because you know the balance. You know the balance of everything better than we do. All right. Exterior. En route to Milan, Italy. Early evening. The Batwing heads towards Milan. Batman and Talia sit together in the plane. Talia breaks the silence. Shot from outside the plane.
7 Lazarus pits and still no sign of my father, not even shadow guards.
I'm not really surprised. Not only would he be laying low...
Can I interrupt this for 1 second while we're at the beginning?
Uh-huh.
We need to... and this is just so I'll remember to note it, really. We need to add in, during the Clock King and Ra's scene, while Ra's is explaining something, a montage of Talia and Batman searching Lazarus pits.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was having difficulty writing both of these scenes, is that I'm missing...
in between.
I'm missing. Not only am I missing an in between, I'm also short the previous 2 scenes, which are on your end of it, and so I actually don't know what happened. I don't know what's happened between Paris and now other than the notes that we have.
Right, yeah.
So
we'll figure this out. It'll be good. All right. So let's start with the dialogue again. Or we can, The Batwing heads towards Milan. Batman and Talia sit together in the plane. Talia breaks the silence.
7 Lazarus pits and still no sign of my father, not even shadow guards.
I'm not really surprised. Not only would he be laying low, but all of these have been dried up. He'll be near one that's active and remote.
Perhaps he's further north. There are a few pits in Russia.
It's possible. When we find out where he is and how to stop this weapon of his, we can formulate a plan.
Where are we now?
We're about 3 miles from Milan.
That would be an ideal place to stop. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't. I don't think it's a good idea, though.
Why not? We'll stand out less than a city of millions rather than a little village, and it's getting dark. We'll need to stop to rest soon anyway.
I suppose you have a point. Milan it is.
The Batwing flies into Milan. The city is beautiful. The sunset silhouettes the bustling city, its millions of lights shining like so many stars. Exterior, skyscraper rooftop. They begin to descend towards one of the smaller skyscrapers, and Batman lands the plane. He and Talia grab their things and exit. Talia looks at the Batwing.
This is different than landing in the desert. Won't someone notice this plane?
Batman pulls a small remote from his belt, points it at the Batwing, and pushes the button. Panels spring out from the Batwing, and after a few seconds it is perfectly disguised as an inconspicuous arrangement of shipping containers.
I do normally operate this thing in the city, you know. We should change before we leave. The only advantage we have at the moment is that your father doesn't seem to know that we're looking for him.
On the ground, Bruce Wayne, sporting a nice suit with a red tie, and Talia, in a lavender blouse and matching long skirt. Bruce speaks up.
Now, I'm going to speak up here, and this is actually important. Like, when we start editing stuff down, what they're wearing is actually important.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Because of the picture.
And that's stuff that you would see.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, that's cool.
All right. So, where do we head now?
We should get some dinner. I know the perfect little place. There's a small bistro not far from here. One of my favorite places to eat in the world. You would love it.
I don't know, Talia. I was asking more in the line of a hotel. We have work to do, and the sooner we get rested up, the sooner we can get back to it.
Bruce, don't be so sedulous. We haven't eaten a proper meal in days.
We're supposed to be finding the cause of these attacks, not sightseeing and sampling bistros.
You're under too much stress, Bruce. We can't do anything more until tomorrow anyway. You need a night to clear your head so you can use it properly when we get back to the task at hand.
Bruce, unable or perhaps unwilling to argue, sighs and throws a "you win this round" look at Talia.
Lead the way, then.
Talia walks off down the street, and Bruce follows her. They come upon a small building a few blocks down the road, and Talia leads them in. Interior, Milan Bistro, night. The host, a kindly-looking old man, is standing at a podium near the front and greets them in Italian. Note: all instances of the Italian language shall be indicated by being enclosed in brackets. On screen, this text will appear in subtitles.
There's actually no standard way to denote a foreign language in a screenplay. I looked that up.
Okay. There's actually... he mentioned it in that screenplay thing, like different ways people do it. And I'll show you guys that at a later time. But yeah, okay. Who's the host?
You can be the host.
Okay. Hello and welcome. Table for two, I presume?
Yes, please.
Would you prefer a seat inside or on the rooftop?
It's a beautiful night tonight. The roof would be splendid.
The host leads them inside and upstairs to a table on the roof. Rooftop. There aren't many other patrons here, but a small band is playing softly. Bruce and Talia are seated in the corner. The sky is clear, and the moon is out in its fullest beauty. It silhouettes Bruce and Talia as they sit down. Your waiter will be with you in a moment. The host walks away, and Bruce turns to Talia, speaking quietly.
Well, this place does seem nice, at least.
He examines his menu.
I'm not sure what I'm getting yet.
I know what we'll have. Have you ever had roast pheasant?
Not in a few years.
They serve it here with a truffle risotto, and it's absolutely exquisite.
All right.
A young, clean-shaven man, obviously a waiter, comes to the table. Good evening. Are you ready to order?
Yes, actually, we'd like an order of roast pheasant with truffle risotto and a bottle of champagne with 2 glasses.
Bruce nudges Talia's arm and whispers to her.
Talia, I don't drink.
Talia just smiles at him and turns back to the waiter.
Yes, 2 glasses.
Perfect. It'll be ready for you shortly. The waiter walks away, and Bruce leans a bit closer to Talia.
You're pushing this relax thing a bit hard, aren't you?
Talia, sounding slightly hurt.
Why do you ask? Are you not enjoying our evening?
No, it's not that. It's just... I've never been particularly good at relaxing.
I can teach you.
I'm curious. Where exactly do you find time to relax? I'm sure you're as busy as I am, considering your occupation.
Even under my father's tutelage, I still took time to enjoy life.
I have to wonder, how did you turn out so normal? Raised by a complete sociopath, yet so, well, not a sociopath anyway.
Talia chuckles.
I appreciate the compliment, but I dare to think people can be different from their parents.
I suppose you're right.
The waiter returns with their drinks. Your dinner will be ready in just a few minutes. He walks away.
My turn to question you.
All right, then.
Talia pauses a moment, as if hesitating to ask.
How can you trust me, given who my father is? You don't exactly seem like the trusting type, and I haven't exactly been very trustworthy over the years.
Who said I trusted you?
Talia looks shocked at Bruce's audacity, but sees him smiling and relaxes.
I just don't think I'd have been as forgiving as you.
The truth is, I know I shouldn't trust you. We've had a history that in all honesty should put you on the same list as your father. But
Yes?
Bruce pauses, takes a swig of his champagne and coughs a bit, alcohol not being his forte. Talia and him both laugh together. Suddenly, a camera flashes. A man with a camera takes a printed picture out of the camera and hands it to Bruce.
Something for you to remember this lovely date?
But this isn't...
He looks at Talia as the man waltzes away, then softens.
Well, maybe it is.
Talia beams at him. The waiter shows up with their meal and champagne and sets it on the table between them. Dinner is served. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Talia grabs the champagne and pours glasses for herself and Bruce.
This smells delicious.
Eat, I'm sure you'll find that it is.
Bruce takes a bite of the pheasant.
Wow. You're right, Talia.
I thought you might like it.
She takes a bite herself and smiles.
Thank you for this, Talia. I didn't realize how badly I needed it, especially with everything that's going on.
The band finishes the song just then. Talia stands up.
Wait here.
Talia walks across the rooftop to the band's violinist.
Would you happen to know a good song for a slow dance?
But of course, dear lady. He addresses the bandmates. Gentlemen? The band opens playing a slow but cheerful song, similar to a big band song from the 30s. Talia heads back over to the table. She looks down at Bruce and offers her hand. Bruce takes it, and they walk out to the center of the rooftop. The two of them dance in time to the lovely music. They exchange smiles and embrace, dancing slowly as the scene and the music fade. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
We're going to keep going. That was awesome. Interior Milan Hotel. Morning. Establishing shot. Sunrise over the Milan cityscape. Bruce and Talia are sleeping in a bed inside a modest hotel room. The sun is seen rising through the window, which wakes up Bruce. He gently gets out of bed, gets dressed, and walks over to Talia's side of the bed to nudge her awake.
Talia?
Yes, my beloved.
I'm going out to get us some breakfast. You stay here.
Talia sleepily grunts her agreement and relaxes again. Bruce grabs his coat and heads out. Exterior, Milan streets. Bruce walks around for a moment before his cell phone rings. He picks up and hears Alfred's voice.
Hello?
Master Bruce, it's good to hear you again.
Do you know what time it is?
Inner cut, interior Batcave, day.
It's about 3 o'clock here, but as I haven't heard from you in several days, I have no idea where you are, and assuming it's still true that you never sleep.
Yeah, I get it. So what's up?
It's about your suit. I've almost finished it. It needs a few finishing touches and a test run, but after that, it should be ready.
That's good to hear.
And how is your search going?
Not too well. We can't find any real clues, just abandoned sites. We do have a sample of whatever this agent is, though. I don't have the equipment to test it here, but when we're back in Gotham, we can analyze it and see if there's any way to stop it.
We?
I'm traveling with Talia.
Oh my, whatever will her father think?
Well, until we find him, we won't know. Fortunately, he doesn't seem to know that we're looking for him.
That's good. Best to make sure it stays that way. I'm off to run some errands. If you need anything, let me know.
Will do. Bye, Alfred.
End intercut. Bruce puts his phone away and looks around, trying to find a place to grab breakfast. He walks past an alleyway, and a shadow catches his eye. Curious but cautious, Bruce starts walking into the alley to investigate. The moment he's out of sight of the main road, a poisoned dart comes hurtling out of the shadows right towards Bruce's head. Bruce dodges just in time and leaps into the darkness after the assailant. Bruce connects his fist with what is shown to be one of Ra's al Ghul's masked shadow guards. The shadow guard throws a return punch at Bruce, which hits him in the gut. Reeling, Bruce sends an uppercut to the guard's face, but misses. The guard then runs. Bruce attempts to run down the guard, but quickly gets tired and worn out. The guard makes it onto a motorcycle and rides off. Bruce only whispers a worried,
No.
Interior, Ra's al Ghul's fortress, around 9:30 a.m. Moscow time. Ubu enters Ra's meeting hall. He finds Ra's sitting in front of the world map with all the cities attacked so far marked with a large red X. Ra's does not turn from his map to address Ubu.
Yes, Ubu?
I have news, Master.
Go on.
One of our guards was spotted and attacked in Milan in Italy.
Are our plans compromised?
I believe so.
You believe?
The attacker was Bruce Wayne.
In lieu of an angry outburst, Ra's smiles, still not turning from the map.
You know what to do.
Awesome. Interior, Milan Hotel. Bruce bursts open the hotel door and hurtles into the room.
Talia!
Talia bolts awake, looking confused.
We need to go, now! Ra's knows we're here.
What happened?
I ran into one of his guards a minute ago. We need to get to the Batwing.
Exterior, Milan streets. Bruce and Talia are running at breakneck speed, but Bruce is heaving. Talia grabs him and pulls him along. They reach the building where the Batwing is held. Rooftop. Bruce grabs the remote to undisguise the Batwing, and it appears in the place of the shipping containers. Suddenly, 3 shadow guards burst out of hiding and attack. Talia is too quick for them. One swings a baton at her, which she snatches and hits the guard in the face with. Another throws a punch, which Talia ducks under to give a blow to his ribcage. The last one falls to a judo hip toss and lands on the ground at Bruce's feet. Bruce snatches the guard up by the front of his jumpsuit and snarls at him.
Where's Ra's al Ghul?
The guard reaches for his own throat to use the gas that will wipe his own memory.
May the shadows live for...
Bruce snatches his hand before this can happen, then pulls handcuffs from his belt and binds the guard. He rips off the guard's mask to reveal a blonde man in his late 20s.
You're not getting off that easy. Tell me where Ra's al Ghul is.
The shadow guard laughs.
You're going to have to do better than that to get anything out of me.
Have it your way.
Bruce hits the remote on his belt again, and the engines of the Batwing fire up. Bruce drags the guard across the rooftop to the burning hot exhaust port of one and holds the guard precariously next to it. The guard now looks incredibly nervous.
Now I'm going to ask you one last time.
You're never going to reach him. Even if you do find him, you'll be shot down by anti-aircraft guns before you can get within 10 kilometers.
Talia says.
He's an Archangel.
The guard looks as though he's dropped a live grenade at his own feet.
Father's fortress in Archengelst is the only one he felt needed anti-aircraft batteries, as you can only reach it by plane.
The guard drops his defeated look and just smiles at Talia.
It doesn't matter. The Abaddon enzyme will destroy you before you even leave the city.
Then Talia says...
The what?
Just then, a rolling orange cloud of death bursts over the horizon, blotting out the sun. The cloud moves onto the rooftop of the building, consuming the 2 guards left on the ground moments before. Bruce and Talia take the remaining guard away from the engine and sprint towards the cockpit of the plane as the cloud moves along the roof of the building. The shadow guard breaks free of their grip and, still handcuffs, runs laughing into the cloud. Bruce runs to grab him, but Talia pulls him away.
Let's go.
They jump into the plane, Talia piloting, and speed off away from the cloud, a fresh burst of which covers the whole building. The Batwing speeds away from the cloud before the cockpit even has time to close, and Bruce closes it just in time before the cloud engulfs the plane. Talia jams forward on the control stick, and the plane hurtles itself out of the cloud, leaving Milan behind. Bruce, looking incredibly somber, looks out of the cockpit window at the cloud now covering Milan.
All those people.
I know, but now that we know where my father is, we can stop him from ever doing this again.
Not yet. He's on our trail now. I bet you anything he has a spy satellite tracking us right now.
Then where do we go?
The Batcave.
Won't he think to look for us there?
Yes, he will. But even he can't get through the Batcave's new defenses. I've had them overhauled several times since the last time he walked in there without my permission.
What will we do then?
We need to find an antigen for this Abaddon enzyme.
Abaddon?
Abaddon was the Hebrew angel of death.
Bruce looks back down at the doomed city.
At the apocalypse.
That was badass!
That was badass.
That was so cool. Sir. That was so cool. The only thing is, we agreed that Ubu would reveal the final location of where Raish was right before he went over the edge, or when Batman was beating him or holding on to him or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And we said that this guy would just smile and tell them the name of the Abaddon stuff, and then sacrifice himself without giving up any information.
Okay, so just put that in the notes for this episode, and we'll fuck with it later.
Yeah, definitely. And I have one other really small thought, but it was nothing, and I'll figure it out and bring it up later. But
I see what you're saying about the whole novelistic thing, but at the same time, I don't think it's a problem in this particular...
I think there's like maybe 2 or 3 things I noticed maybe that could have been edited slightly, but like really that was so much less verbose than the Paris scene, and the action just moves so quick. It's so good. But to give you a small example, I wish I could think of the exact thing, but like hold on. Like stuff like this. Okay. For those who can't see the screenplay, the line says, Talia sleepily grunts her agreement and relaxes again. Bruce grabs his coat and heads out. Now the way I always try to quantify it is, okay, that takes up a line and a half, and not really that much into the second line. Maybe, and I just picked this line of action randomly because that's how long it was, but I try to see if there's any way I can edit it into only taking up one line and conveying the same information. Mm-hmm. So if you can kind of think like that in the future, like just like when you notice like it goes down just a little bit to like right here, that's a really good way to just clean it up and make, without really taking anything out, free up so much space. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those were just random examples I picked, not even like something that needs to be edited. But yeah, that was super awesome. I love the action in it. It was awesome, and I love I got chills writing it when it was just like, yeah, the attacker was Bruce Wayne, and he's just like, you know what to do, and he's looking at the map. I actually thought of this while we were reading it just now, and I think I might add this in. I want to see what you guys think. Now, we could either have him leave him there and say, you know what to do, or have him say that, and then what you see on the screen is him crossing Milan off the map. Or now, see, I don't know if I like that better, or if I just like the whole vagueness of you know what to do, and the audience doesn't need to be shown that, they just know it. Or what if I like showing it, but what if we showed it a second later, right after okay, we leave that scene with
Open
Raish.
the next scene with it.
Or no. We leave Raish, that scene there where it's like where that happens. Then we get to outside of the fucking where the action's going on, and he's fucking interrogating the guy, and then the guy says the Abaddon enzyme will take out everybody, and there's nothing you can do. Whatever he says. And right after he says that, just a really quick shot of just a close up of Raish exiting it out, and then go right back into the scene.
That could work.
I remember the other thing I thought of. What if we, since Batman has all this crazy technology, what if at the beginning of the fucking Milan scene when they're still in the Batwing, what if there was a way that he could send the fucking dog DNA to Alfred, and Alfred could be analyzing that, and they could need to go back to the Batcave for those results. Like, maybe they would think it would take a while, instead of, like, showing up at the Batcave. I can do this experiment all of a sudden, and then the Clock King shows up, like, giving them time to do the, like, fucking experiments, and then showing up. Whereas he would pretty much be already there, waiting for him.
Maybe, or maybe, like, Alfred, like, maybe the reason they have to go back to the Batcave is that Alfred actually, like, not through his own work, but
Alfred can run the tests, but he doesn't know how to read the results. Maybe that's what Bruce to do.
Or like the computer does most of the work and it synthesizes a cure or something that they can use to fight it.
Oh,
the problem is they have
destroyed.
to. Well, no, they have to go get it.
Yeah, and then it gets destroyed in the process.
It might, but we also have to think. Talia's going to be sabotaging that Abaddon plant later. Maybe that's maybe she takes that and that's what she's doing it with. And she's got like a vial of some shit or some other shit.
Yeah, and we reveal after she blows that up and the smoke gets her that fucking she took that cure and she somehow remains still there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I think we had said some vague thing about that before, but the fact that I like the computer doing that work to synthesize a cure and giving them that reason to go back at that moment, I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, what I was struggling with was like, because I know they're traveling all over the world, and actually, we're going to need something between the end of the mountain meeting scene and the beginning of him leaving for France. Because is he just leaving directly for France without saying anything to Alfred? What the hell's going on?
I that was one thing I was wondering after I had already like put it in Final Draft and saved it. Like I was like, oh yeah, we were gonna have.
And this is shit we're gonna have to hammer out when we'll write everything the way we have it according to that note.
Yeah.
And then when we put it together,
that's when we'll figure out continuity stuff.
Yeah, we got to make the bricks, and then when we put it together, we'll figure out the mortar.
Yeah, there you go. But fucking yeah, you turned 22 and fucking produced fucking 2 amazing scenes on this podcast. Oh, that fucking first scene in Milan was so great.
I really, really, really wanted to write that scene.
Yeah.
It was like...
And yeah, I know you did, and you did better than I would have, definitely. Yeah, and that's this way. I love how personal it is, because in the fucking Lazarus Pit, they're gonna be like, Bruce is gonna really push to be strictly business, and Talia is not gonna. She's not gonna want that. So this follows that, and that's when they're like, she's like, okay, you're gonna open up, like, yeah. So that's fucking cool.
I love the whole 2 glasses. Yeah, 2 glasses.
Yeah, that's great.
Because like it's never been mentioned in the show, but in the comics, Batman was always a teetotaler. He never drank. He refused to do anything with it because he's like, I could need my mind at any moment and whatever. The thing is, though, is the reason I inserted that was I was looking at the picture. Like, for those of you who are just coming in now, there's this scene in Milan was stated to have happened in the canon by the existence of one picture in the Batman Beyond episode Out of the Past.
That's why, like, that scene had to be in this movie.
Exactly. There's no other place to put it in the story, and we know that scene happened right there. And we know what it looked like. And they are both in that picture. They both have glasses with champagne sitting there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I loved how it worked out. And I love that, like, maybe you think that's gonna, like, impose a threat or something, but no, the fucking universe gave him that night to have some fucking champagne with Talia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And shit didn't go down till the next morning.
Right, and then the other thing that was important in there was that I actually had the photographer come in toward the end of the scene so that Bruce could actually finish, because I try when I'm thinking to write of Bruce and Batman almost as two separate people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, but I wanted Bruce to end that whole scene on, this isn't a date now. Well, maybe it is, but I realized that couldn't work, even though that might have been a nice way to end the dialogue for that scene, because when the picture was taken, they didn't have their dinner at the table yet.
Okay.
So I was like, shit, I can't put it that late in the scene. Their dinner's not there. It's not ready yet. So I had to move it.
I love how to the T you are with continuity. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was like I sat there because I just had that picture on one window and this in the other. I was just like, I had to keep going back and forth. It was like, what the hell's here? I knew what the weather was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like...
I love... I had forgotten that we had switched back to Raish for that scene the next morning. That was really cool.
That was cool.
Well, yeah. Well, see, the thing is that I had forgotten about it, too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think we explicitly mentioned it.
Especially even in the scene layout, like right here.
Like, I don't think it mentions it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, and the thing
we had
was...
talked about it, though, but we forgot to include it in the scene layout.
Mm-hmm. But, and then it was just like, wait a second. Well, now, we need to see what's up with Raish, because it's going to not make sense for him to later talk to the Clock King about how nothing works without him actually having attempted to make something work.
Yeah,
and I was like, shit.
And I was actually thinking recently about how maybe we didn't have enough Raish scenes, but I think that adding in there, like, makes it pretty, like, adds it in, like, evenly with what's going on with Batman. Mm-hmm. So, cool. That's awesome. This is a really long episode, so we're going to find a fucking Batman line and close on it. Batman quotes.
And I will try and have 25 through 27 done by Sunday night.
Okay, I will definitely have either the Lazarus Pit or the ambush and Joker scene to present by them. Mm-hmm. Let's go with some Tim Burton.
This ought to be good.
I'm going to kill you.
You idiot! You made me, remember? You dropped me into that vat of chemicals. That wasn't easy to get over, and don't think that I didn't try.
I know you did.